They're going to put all their eggs in the root basket.
That's a Grace pick for you.
Yep. And this is very surprising. They're going to take the Lulu, I imagine, against the Silas.
He's had a rough split. He's going for a gank. Might have been able to find Peanut, maybe trade some flashes, but instead, they want to get on top of this bottom lane. The taunt's going to get both in root, getting super low. Means that this gank is going to be up to Malrong here. Already the heal going to be used, but the Hail of Blades is in after the charge. Ruler, though, going to be double flashed on, and there it is. First blood goes to the way of Malrong. Nice knock up there onto life as the situation.
Managed to know that something is off. And so,
like that.
Days of Future Past.
Yeah, yeah. As, speaking of which, we'll see if Malrong can get away from this one. The answer is absolutely no, as Grace nearly getting dove here has been just pushing in that Urgot so consistently up in the top lane. So that will go the way of Gen.G. They're not going to forget to pick this one up. Now, will Gen.G force a fight is the question. They're going in onto Linderong, and here comes Nova from behind, but not quite able to make anything happen here as Linderong and Malrong both flashing away. Now Malrong is in the death chamber, nowhere for him to go. In goes life, and Root, essentially all alone, is going to try to flash away. Does have that cleanse, but Wild Growth comes in and saves his life. And actually, Gen.G does get pretty low, so they are not going to continue. Tried to come from behind, and that definitely is one of these. Well, I'm going to hold that thought. As Peanut and Roach both coming to the top side, thinking about a dive. You can see Wild Growth on Roach here, so somebody's going to be real big. As in goes that World Ender. Linderong just trying to stay alive right now, but he's going to be dragged away. And they will go for that follow-up dive. Can Linderong get away? He does a nice amount of damage, but it's not enough. 1v3, successful dive happens, but elsewhere on the map, Gen.G just gets 4 people into the mid lane, and they're pushing on into tier 1.
Yeah, and I do think that Gen.G is actually making the better out of this trade. They're pushing on for 2 mid turrets.
This lane's taking off LS.
And the Rip Child, I do think, is going to get one more charge at least on mid. Not sure if... Okay, never mind. Silas gets there just in time. Bottom and top tier 1s are taken down. But this does mean that...
Third Drake will go to the side of Gen.G. Kind of similar to the first Ocean Drake, where a lean from the side of Gen.G to the top side leaves the freed Ocean Drake to the plan for this one. But you're going up against a Kalista. And here we go. It goes Linderong straight in the back, but it is going to go the way of the Kalista as well. As the knockback goes on to Kive, but they pull back that Galleon. Look at this huge spear onto all the side of Gen.G. But can they do any more damage? They're just going to dunk them in the back line as down goes the rest of Gen.G. Not really doing much in that fight.
The greatest Leroy Jenkins impression I've ever seen. The Aatrox runs straight into the pit. And then just watch Root on the Kai'Sa. He's getting the movement speed from the Scuttlecrab, but chooses to activate his ultimate, still gets feared beyond death. Kiting doesn't really matter as Gen.G was just all over him. Not going out.
Yeah, okay, essentially the same thing, but you know.
Emergency services needed for some of the players on Gen.G.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably
Is that all you got?
Yeah,
okay.
that's all I can think of at that point.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, Gen.G, they're miles ahead now as even Urgot is chunking Root here. Even though he does true damage to them, they don't seem to care. They're just too far ahead, and they have the Baron in the double ocean, as you were mentioning. So the sustain is real. 2 inhibitors down at 27.5 minutes as Gen.G trying to make this a quick one.
This is not what one might expect either if they're just tuning into a Gen.G versus Gen.G. is how are their inhibitors down at 27 minutes? This isn't supposed to happen. Obviously, it's supposed to be a gentleman's agreement. Those don't fall until at least 40.
We had no real lull state in this game. I mean, there were small ones, but there wasn't the real lull state that generally lasts about 10-15 minutes. Especially when you got a couple of these teams facing off against each other. As Gen.G, you know, getting it done quick.
Yeah, they're going to enable the 7 versus 5 if they can capture this last inhibitor. What I mean by that is 2 super minions now coming from every single lane.
Gen.G just going to fight for it as see you later, Alistair. Get the fear onto that Aatrox too as the rest of Gen.G are just giving up on this one. Everybody's in the fountain. And that's going to do it in just about 28.5 minutes. Gen.G with Roach into the mid lane will find success and will take game number 1 up against Jin Air. Okay.
I feel like I am taking a blast from the plat. Okay, it's going to be Kennen top lane.
With a standard thing that we were normally going to do before. But instead, maybe we lose like this. Maybe they'll feel better about that, as we're able to win the race of the turret, though.
Yeah, they're looking for the first blood turret anyway, or the first brick, as they managed to get that down in bottom. And so, Gen.G, they're still ahead in gold.
Yeah, they're about to get a turret too, so hold your horses. How about 700 gold? Your team.
1.2k gold lead right now. They're looking. Oh, that was a really
that was a close one. As in goes Root over the wall. That one will go the way of Gen.G, as Grace not able to land that charm and trying to force that one, as you mentioned, just keep it controlled. They always try to go for this Ari, as Grace is really the only one that's pushing up too far ahead. But hasn't worked out yet, as nobody has died in this game on the map. As this does come in, they're going to tank up a little bit and try to do a little bit of damage to that, as still Linderong lives.
Whoa, actually got the flash on a ruler.
Yeah, first blood comes in, 2350, finally.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Don't want to get into any copyright trouble, as after that one, you know, they get the flash out of ruler, but still, I mean, you get a turret in the bottom side and that coordination. So definitely a fan of that. You want to do that, but we got a lot of damage coming out from essentially just Ezreal and Kennen. As the poke comes down, and just the big one, he's got that angle.
Cuvée has created his own flank just by walking.
Well, Linderong did find him, so we got a one-on-one there. As Cuvé's taking a hell of a lot of damage, Roach trying to zone them out here in the river. There goes down the Baron, and now Jin Air fighting up against a team with Baron. Nice little snipe by Roach, but will he survive? No. Down he will go, as Jin Air able to snipe him away. The 1 kill onto the Thresh from the side of Gen.G is going to be the only trade, but they also
are definitely going to begin to fall, and the gold gap will continue to widen.
Ooh. That's Ezreal for you, and that's Ruler. Looking for the Sniperino now. He doesn't get Root, but he gets a really big chunk onto both Kellen and Malrong, it looks like there.
Oh. Peanut with the Baron minions managing to tell Yorick he cannot really do anything, as the Maiden not finding the most success here.
Smited the Maiden even before. As Kellen's like, hey, let's go kill the Olaf. Wait, I forgot about Ragnarok. Peanut doesn't care, as his team is just pushing down mid lane. Take a look at Cuvée, perfect timing on this wave coming on in. Nice macro to finish off this one for Gen.G as they look for their second inhibitor in the top lane.
And Peanut, meanwhile, down in bottom lane, making good work of that turret. Looks like the cannon will get it. One more volley?
Okay, there you go. Goes down. As Ruler, there's just nobody that can contest this guy now. Grace not able to get in there quick enough. They have Tom Kent right behind them. Wasn't a very good idea to give Ezreal Tom Kent to the side of Ruler and Gen.G as they're looking for the snipe on Root. Doesn't come in, but Gen.G just say, hey, maybe we can end this game right now. They're looking for it, but the hook does come through on a Peanut. Doesn't look like the Devour will happen, as in goes Cuvée. Gonna do a nice amount of damage. They get the 2 kills. And it looks like that's going to be it, guys. Jin Air, unfortunately, going to beat another 0-2 tonight, as Gen.G this time make it look much cleaner up against Jin Air in the second round. Will take the 2-0 to victory.
And was it really all that much of a surprise when Griffin had already sealed their fate earlier on in the week? Because if Griffin wins, Jin Air can't win.
That's true.
Can't break the balance of life. Balance of nature must be maintained, you know, so. Right here, Gen.G managed to pick themselves up a win as Jin Air continue their descent. Probably not onto a runway, but maybe an ocean or something. I'm not quite sure where they're going. But This is not looking very good. As the split continues to progress, normally you would expect that you roll again. That's what ends up happening. So after today, the balance is maintained. As you can see there, Griffin, first place, plus 19. Gen.G Greenwings, last place, minus 19. Just don't mess with that, Brendan. And everything else in the in-between.
We need the balance, as is the way of the world. There's balance in everything. 10-0 plus 19, 0-10 negative 19. As Gen.G, you know, they move up one spot, and to absolutely need to continue winning. If you want to catch up to a freak win, they think about talking about MVPs and voting. But either way, I'm going to hand it over to G, so we can talk about that later.
Thank you very much, guys. This is a interview translation and joined by Ruler, Roach from Gen.G. You guys stopped the losing streak. How do you guys feel? After the 4 games losing streak, this is the first victory for the second round, so I'm really happy. What about you, Ruler? We could have done better, but we could not. So I think it's a big relief that we got 2-0 victory today. Today, Roach, you were the starting mid laner. It was very unexpected strategy. What kind of process did your team go through to reach this conclusion? Well, I'm not even sure that whether this is gonna last for a long term or just for today. But, well, we were thinking that I was in a quite good form, and you know there are a lot of champions that can flex pick between mid and top lane, so that's why I kind of played as a mid laner today. Then was the coaching staff decision? Well, yeah, they were also offering me to play as a mid laner, but I also thought that during playing solo queues, I thought, yeah, it could be viable if I play on mid lane. And today, you guys banned out a lot of champions on mid lane. Why was that? Well, we were focusing on champions that the opponents are good at. And Ruler, this was your first Kalista of the spring split. Why was that? Well, a lot of people have been saying that Kalista is really a good champion currently, so that's why we played it today. Was that a good champion against Kaisa? Were you confident? It was a bit hard, you know, but all the other players in my team did so well for me to kind of earn time and do well in the late game. In game 1, Grace played Lulu in mid lane, but he actually didn't go for Ardent Sensor, rather he just went with damage items. Well, if you go Ardent Sensor, it's really hard to play in lanes and also in the side lanes, so I think he had to just go for the damage items. I understand him. And Ruler, you had some hard times, you know, being ganked a lot, but how were you able to turn the game around? Well, but the jungler said he's farming well, so I wasn't really worried, and we had a lot of vision priority, so it wasn't really that hard for me. And a lot of players were performing so well, so would you like to pick another MVP for game 1? To be honest, for game 1, I expected the jungler or maybe other laners to be the MVP, so I was a bit surprised. I actually expected to be MVP for game 2, so I was a bit frustrated, but for the game 1, I think definitely Peanut did the best. Moving on to game 2, you guys opened Lucian. Fans could have been worried about that. I have practiced a lot about this Ezreal versus Lucian matchup, and I'm quite good at it. So that was our coaching staff's decision, but I did poorly in the laning phase. But in the end, I think we kind of were able to close out the game. And Ari showed up in mid lane today. It has been a while. How was facing up against that? Yeah, it has been a while for me as well to face up against. But you know, Urgot is OP, you know, so it was not hard for me to play against.
꼭 드려야 할 것 같아요.
And I have this question for you.
4인 텔레포트 상황이 있었는데
There was 4
질문
TP
안 하면
situation
팬분들이
near
정말
the
궁금해하실 것 같아서
Dragon Pits.
여쭤볼게요.
What was going on over there?
되게 성진이 형한테는 좀 미안한데
I'm really sorry for
성진이 형이 저희와
Cube.
합이 안 맞았었거든요.
But we did have some
탑솔로
miscommunication over
입장에서
there.
봤을 때는 좀 아쉬웠던 텔레포트였는데
Well, as a top laner, I can
상대도
say
다 같이
that wasn't the best
별 소용
teleport,
없었던
but
상황이었던 것 같아요.
well,
네,
eventually, also the opponent
자.
players used out their
지금 팀 상황이
TP as well,
많이
so it
좋지
wasn't that
않았었다가
bad.
이제 풀리게 돼요. 오늘부터 분위기가 좋아질까요?
So can we expect
좋아져야
some
하지
more
않을까요?
upswing from
이제 좀
Gen.G?
많이 안 좋았으니까
I mean, it has to be better.
반등을
We
해야
have
되지
been going
않을까
through
싶어요.
some very
네, 선수가 또
low
중심을 잘 잡아주고 계시니까요.
time, I mean, very
로치 선수
downfalls a
계속
lot, so
미드에서
I hope that we can do
만나뵐 수
better
있을
from
것
now on.
같고 기대해 보도록 하겠습니다. 자, 2월 25일이 플라이 선수의 생일입니다.
And I
알고
heard
계시죠?
Fly's birthday is coming soon.
네.
Did you know that? Yes, I
플라이
did.
선수에게 생일 축하한다고.
Any birthday wishes for him?
가 없는 날이라서요.
용준이 형 생일 축하하고
Dear Fly, happy birthday.
같이 잘합시다.
Let's do our best.
하셨으면
Fighting.
좋겠습니다. 로치 선수도 본의
And
아니게
Roach, you
미드로
want to add on to
오시게
that?
됐는데
I mean, you
용준이
were
형
is
정말 생일 축하하고
playing on his
되게
role.
착하고 저한테 먹을 것도 많이
Happy
사주는
birthday,
형이기 때문에
Fly.
꼭
You're really nice. You buy me
좋은
always good
생일이
food,
되었으면
delicious food. So I hope you
네,
spend
그리고 다음
awesome
경기가
birthday on your
SKT입니다.
birthday.
오늘 2위로 올라섰어요. 정말
And
쉽지 않은
you're going to be
상대인데요.
facing up
어떻게
against
임하실
LCK
계획이세요?
Telecom in your upcoming series. They are now in the
그냥
second place. They look really strong.
무조건 실수가 안 나야 될 것 같고 저희가 더 잘해야
The
될
most
것
important
같습니다.
thing is not to make any
알겠습니다.
mistakes
로치
and
선수도
performing
가방
better
말씀
than them.
부탁드릴게요.
And
제가
Roach,
어느 라인으로 나올지 모르겠지만
I'm not sure
어느
which lane I'm going to
라인에서도 꼭
play on that day.
상대보다 더 잘할 수
but
있도록 노력할 거고
no matter which
꼭
lane I play, I'm
이겨서
gonna make sure
승승장구할
to
수 있도록
outplay
네,
my opponent lane
팬분들
there.
감사드립니다. 자, 오늘 승자 MVP 인터뷰
This
여기서
will be the end of the
마치겠습니다.
MVP
감사합니다.
interview with Ruler and Roach. And I'm going to pass it back to our
네, 룰러
casters.
선수
Thank
그리고
you.
로치 선수 만나봤습니다. 중계선 연결할게요.
Thank you, G-Sun. As always, we're